After 2 years in hardware and software development and overall engineering, we're really happy to say that the headset that we've been working on is finally ready for release. So we're super excited about everything that has taken place. Again, back to the overall engineering feat. Keep in mind what we set out to do here. We set out to change the way these headsets are designed, built, and manufactured, specific to the way we operate as paramotor pilots. Let's start with the microphone, which is at the heart of our headset. Kind of an industry first, within this microphone itself, there are 3 transducers, okay? So we are listening to outside ambient audio for specific frequencies to pass to noise canceling. And so that factored into the overall active noise canceling that you hear or don't hear inside of your headset. Center mic is a 15-degree directional microphone specific to capturing your voice and the human audible range, ensuring that as you speak through this headset, you've got really clean audio coming to your recording device. In this case, it can be a GoPro or any other camera of your choice. On the back side, we allow for additional audio input and airflow. This basically allows us to capture any additional ambient audio from the environment, and then covering all of it to ensure that there's no wind noise is a really large microphone, piece of foam, as you would find on an aviation headset or like. So that is the microphone. So the microphone itself is a simple installation. There's a 3.5mm jack. You'll start with the tab pointing outwards. You'll insert, and then you'll simply rotate that into place and press fit the retention clip into place. It takes quite a bit of pressure to get this inserted, but at the end of the day, it will prevent your microphone from moving while you fly. You can make bendable adjustments to the microphone from there. So let's talk a little bit about the headset itself and what we've packed into the overall design. Again, specific to the way we fly and operate as paramotor pilots and our desires to stay connected with everyone around us as we fly. Whether or not you're flying individually and just need to make a quick phone call home to let the wife or significant other know that you're going to be late, or if you want to stay connected to everyone that you're flying with in that group of friends. So we've got a multitude of options as well as hardware and software features that enable all of that. Keep in mind that as we fly, we've got a really loud, not only the ambient environment, but an engine and propeller behind us. Those are essentially the 3 components that add a degree of complexity and engineering for this product. In this case, what we've done is at the forefront design for the best possible passive noise canceling that we can. This means the external area of this device is extremely simplified in terms of not only its aesthetic attributes, but its ability to drown out a very specific frequency range, right? So 45 to 65 hertz is essentially where we operate as paramotor pilots. That comes from those 3 things that I mentioned previously. The ambient environment, essentially wind noise, the propeller, which is ultimately the loudest aspect of all of it, and lastly, your engine and exhaust, which is a little bit quieter than the propeller and that frequency range. So the hardware and external shell itself is really thick. It's as thick as you would find in a 3M Pelter cup, regardless of its decibel rating range. So for those of you who are currently flying with the 23, 26, 28, or 33 decibel reduction cups, and have either built in a Cena headset or are currently just utilizing the cups and maybe some AirPods, you're gonna find that the passive noise canceling attributes of this headset's design are really close to that 28 decibel 3M Pelter cup. So right out of the gate, you're cutting as much of that passive noise sound out of the situation as you can. With that, we've also packed in active noise canceling and a separate amplification process. On the outside of it, you'll notice it's an extremely clean design, similar to the Pelter cups themselves. There's a push-to-talk button on the left and right side, which controls the PTT or radio ports here. These are 6-pin radio ports. They work with either a Baofeng radio or your multitude of other general radios on the market, whether it be for aviation or for ham radios. They both work just fine. The PTT buttons respectively control each individual port, either front or back, port 1, port 2, depending on which one you have connected. Let's take a quick in-depth tour of all of the ports and general functionality of the headset itself. 3.5mm audio output jack, USB-A, 5-volt 1-amp charging, USB-C to charge the headset itself, which has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Volume up, volume down buttons, toggle track forward and back, depending on if you're listening to music. And then long press to power on, and long press to power off. Long press and hold to power on and enter a pairing mode. You'll see this device listed on your Bluetooth ecosystem as headset. The amplifier and ANC is really important. It allows you to essentially turn up the volume, right? But secondary to that, it gives you ANC capabilities specific to that frequency range that we operate in, from 45 to 65 hertz or so. Within this setup itself, between the two ear cups, we now have the ability to not only stay connected, but to record and share that experience with those that may not be at the forefront of what we do as pilots, right? You may be flying in the desert, you may have gone on a trip somewhere amazing, and you want to be able to take that home with you and show the world what you've done. So on the bottom of this ear cup is a 3.5mm jack out. So as you talk through the mic, or you've made a phone call, or you've used the push to talk button to stay connected via radio, all of that is channeled or mixed into the GoPro recording system. So now as you fly, you have everything that you experience being captured directly within the camera itself. We're literally the only ones that do this at this level, and it's because it's such a difficult engineering feat. That's partly why it's taken so long. So let's talk a little bit about the build process. You have the ability to choose nearly any helmet on the market, whether it be Team Wendy, Burn, Smith, etc. In this particular build that I will fly with, I'm using a Smith snowboard helmet. The insulation is slightly thicker, but it does fit my head nicely. So all for consideration in choosing a helmet. There's literally only one wire between the headset and the ear cups. So it makes routing that wire and essentially the lack of soldering and input time to build your helmet or your custom helmet as you see fit. As many of you are currently piecing together not only your helmets, you're also buying off the shelf Bluetooth and possibly even Sena hardware and cobbling that together. What this does is it creates two problems, right? So Sena has essentially gotten rid of their good microphone, which is really hard to come by. On top of that, you've got a lot of work that goes into creating what we now consider an industry benchmark from a headset perspective. And that is so far beyond what actually happens from a build standpoint, right? You have the ability to take our headset, either build your helmet in very simplistic terms, or replace your existing 3M Peltor mount style helmet with our headset and immediately gain all the functionality that we've described, right? So out of the box, you get great ANC, great PNC, and the ability to live, capture, and share everything that you're doing without having to spend all of the time and energy in a custom build that, quite frankly, is probably not going to be nearly as good. And you can't really even hear for the most part. Audio quality is a problem regardless of what helmet and system and setup you're currently using. It doesn't matter if it's a $1,500 helmet. It doesn't matter if it's a $310 Sena hardware kit. They all have some sort of deficit in feature requirements that have justified what we've created here.